We have no one signed up for the public comment period, so we're going to move on to the items on consent. Let me go ahead and read through the consent items, so everybody just take a break for a few minutes. 2023-2331 Roten and Syracuse appropriates $12,000 from a certain account of the Community Safety Fund for a grant to API Middle Tennessee for South Nashville Community Safety Programs. 2023-2332 Roten, Syracuse, Hurt and Welsh appropriates $32,293 from a certain account of the Community Safety Fund for a grant to ASMT Incorporated for South Nashville Community Safety Programs. 2023-2333 Roten, Syracuse, Hurt and Welsh appropriates $48,000 from a certain account of the Community Safety Fund for a grant to Black Mental Health Village for South Nashville Community Safety Programs. 2023-2334 Roten, Syracuse approves an application for a community-based violence intervention and prevention initiative grant from the U.S. Department of Justice to the Mayor's Office of Community Safety to implement programs aimed at mitigating community violence and establishing a community violence intervention and prevention initiative, too easy for me to say. 2023-2335 Roten, Syracuse, Hancock, and others approves a grant from the Tennessee Department of Transportation to the Davidson County Sheriff's Office to provide litter pickup and litter prevention education within Davidson County. 2023-2336 Roten and Welsh approves a Fourth Amendment to a grant contract for constructing affordable housing approved by RS 2019-1861 between the Metropolitan Housing Trust Fund Commission and Affordable Housing Resources. 2023-2337 Roten, Withers, Hancock, and Welsh approves amendments 1 and 2 to a grant from the U.S. Department of the Interior and National Park Service to the Metropolitan Nashville Historical Commission to provide funding for the completion of a historical context focused on Nashville resources associated with the Civil Rights Movement from 1944 to 1966. 2023-2338 O'Connell, Roten, and Withers approves the Fifth Amendment to the lease agreement between Metropolitan Government and 404 James Robertson Prop LLC for office space in the Parkway Towers building. 2023-2339 Roten, Hancock, and Welsh approves the terms of a cooperative purchasing master agreement for the purchase of special purpose firefighting apparatus vehicles for the Department of General Services. 2023-2341 approves a grant from the Tennessee Arts Commission to the Metropolitan Arts Commission for general operating support to expand, improve, and develop the arts in Tennessee. 2023-2343 Roten, Syracuse, and Hancock approves an application for the statewide school resource officer program grant from the Tennessee Department of Safety and Homeland Security for the placement of schools resource officers in schools for the continued efforts to establish and maintain safe and secure learning environments. 2023-2344 by Roten authorizes the Metro Department of Law to compromise and settle the personal injury claim of Cordulta Sullivan against the Metropolitan Government in the amount of $27,000, and that said amount be paid from the Self-Insured Liability Fund. 2023-2345 Sledge Cash, Roten, and others approves the proposal of the Tennessee Department of Transportation to the Nashville Department of Transportation and Multimodal Infrastructure for NDOT to agree to maintain signal and sidewalk upgrades in connection with TDOT's pedestrian road safety construction initiative on State Route 106 from Pierce Avenue to 19th Avenue South. (2023-2346) Roten, Pulley, Welsh, and others approves an application for a Safe Streets and Roads for All grants from the Tennessee Department of Transportation to the National Department of Transportation and Multimodal Infrastructure for improvements along Nolensville Pike to address safety issues related to substandard indoor missed walking, bicycling, and trans facilities, pedestrian lighting, and the lack of pedestrian crossing locations. 2023-2347 O'Connell, Roten, Withers, and others approves a participation agreement between the Metropolitan Department of Water and Sewerage Services and Clark UMC Community Development Corporation to provide public water service improvements for Clark UMC's proposed development, as well as other existing properties in the area. 2023-2348 Gamble, Roten, Withers, and Pulley authorizes the Director of Public Property to exercise an option agreement for the purchase of a flood-prone property located at 3432 Brick Church Pike for Metro Water Services. 2023-2350 by Roten authorizes the Metro Department of Law to compromise and settle the property damage claim of Elizabeth Todd against the Metropolitan Government in the amount of $16,074.25, with said amount to be paid out of the Self-Insured Liability Fund. 2023-2351 by Roten authorizes the Metro Department of Law to compromise and settle the property damage claim of Drew Bloom against the Metropolitan Government in the amount of $15,300 and with said amount to be paid out of the self-insured liability fund. 2023-2352 by Murphy, request that the Nashville Convention and Visitors Corp. Study the feasibility of deploying alternatives to fireworks and pyrotechnics during, apologize, that is not on consent. 2023-2353 by Johnston, request the Human Resources Department study the use of Consumer Price Index for, that is not on consent as well. Sorry, y'all. I'll just keep on reading things that are not on consent. I have 2 late resolutions. I'm sorry, but... And then... On bills on second on consent, 2023-2107, Roten, Welsh, Saguaro, and Porterfield establishes a program for the purpose of providing assistance to low-income elderly residents of the Metropolitan Government for the fiscal year 2023-2024. 2023-2108, Roten, Johnston, Saguaro, and others approves a lease agreement between the Metropolitan Nashville Public Schools and Hispanic Family Foundation for the establishment of an EL enrollment site. 2023-2110, Welsh, Roten, Syracuse, and Porterfield approves a limited revocable license agreement between the Metropolitan Board of Health and Coshaica Community Development to create, operate, and maintain a non-commercial community garden on the west side of Woodbine Clinic to utilize Metro property to improve community health and nutrition. 2023-2111, Roten, Withers, Hurt, and Pulley authorizes the granting of a temporary overhead line easement and permanent underground utility easement to Electric Power Board on certain property owned by the Metropolitan Government. 2023-2112, Roten, Withers, Hurt, and others approves the Greenway Conservation Easement and a participation agreement between the Metropolitan Board of Parks and Recreation and 301 Ben Allen LP for Greenway improvements. 2023-2115, Cash, Roten, Withers, and Pulley approves the conditional abandonment of the public right-of-way of Jess Neely Drive between Natchez Trace and 25th Avenue South. 2023-2116, Roten, Withers, and Pulley authorizes the abandonment of an easement and the acquisition of another easement on the same parcel of property bounded by Hermitage Avenue, 1st Avenue South, and Peabody Street. 2023-2117, Roten and Pulley approves a contract between the Metropolitan Government and Nedro and Associates, Inc. to provide flight and burger products, parts, and services. 2023-2124, Roten and Evans amends ordinance number BL 2013395 and approves an extension of 1 year to the initial term of the cable television franchise of Comcast of Nashville LLC, pending completion of the franchise renewal process. That is all the items on consent. Councilmember Allen, you're recognized.
Can we pull RS 2023-23, 47, and 48?
And those are pulled. Councilmember Saguaro, you are recognized.
Thank you. Can we pull RS 2023, 2338, and 2343?
You did say 2338, is that correct? Seeing no other hands, I got a motion for the consent calendar. Moved, properly seconded. All in favor? Any opposed? You approve. How many you got down? All right, going back to the start of the calendar, 2023-2295, Roten, Syracuse, and Hurt approves a grant contract between the Metropolitan Board of Health and Why We Can't Wait, Inc. for the provision of violence interruption services. Councilmember Gamble, you are recognized.
Thank you, Chair. I have signed on to this bill as well. I would like to move to defer the bill. Councilmember Toombs has written a letter to defer, and it should be on everyone's desk. The main reason for the deferral is that this bill recommends allocation to Why We Can't Wait. However, there were 2 organizations that the Community Safety Partnership Fund recommended receive allocations for violence interruption work in North Nashville. The other organization, being Gideon's Army, was left off of this resolution. So for those reasons, Councilmember Toombs has been working with the Department of Health and MMPD to rectify that problem, but it hasn't been solved as of yet. So at this point, I'm motioning for a 1 meeting deferral.
Thank you, Vice Chair Gamble. I have a motion for deferral and a proper second. Councilmember Johnston on the deferral.
Well, before we vote on a deferral, can we?
We are on a deferral motion. We're not doing anything but the deferral motion. Are you on the deferral?
Nope.
We have a motion proper seconded. Any hands? Speak on the deferral. Seeing none. All in favor? Any opposed? You approve the deferral. 12 in favor, 0 against. 2023-2338, O'Connell, Roten, and Withers approves the Fifth Amendment to the lease agreement between the Metropolitan Government and 404 James Robertson Prop LLC for office space in the Parkway Towers building. Councilmember, I don't see O'Connell here, so it's moved, properly seconded. Councilmember Suara, you're recognized.
Thank you, Chair. Just a couple of questions for anyone that can answer them. In looking at the details of the lease or the fiscal analysis, it does shows that in addition to extending the life of the contract, there's also reduction in use of space. I just wanted to know which departments are moving out, where they're moving out to. Is there another lease agreement to accommodate those that are not using the space anymore?
Anyone from the administration?
Thanks for the question. Parkway Towers is 404 James Robertson. There's several departments in there right now. We've executed a couple extensions of the lease. There, I think, are 4 departments going to 4 different locations, and you've already approved some of those new leases already. One of them, I think, was 2nd Avenue. Who's left over there is HRC. I can't remember where they're going. It's Monday. I can't remember where they're going. I can get you the full list. But their space reduction is because some of them have already moved out. Internal audit is working remote until their space is complete. HR is kind of working a shared work model. They will head up to the Howard School when the Howard School remodel is done. So you won't see another lease for that, obviously, because we own it. But the expectation is everybody out of there no later than, I think it's spring of 2024, because they have plans, the owners, for that building.
So by spring of 24, then the remaining offices
I
will
have
be
a full comprehensive list of just that property I can get for you.
Okay, all right.
Who went where and when they're going.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Seeing no other hands, all in favor? Any opposed? You approve. 12 in favor, 0 against. Item 2023-23, Fortin, Roten, and Hancock approves a memorandum of understanding between the United States Department of Homeland Security and the Metropolitan Government for participation in the E-Verify program. Moved, properly seconded. Councilmember Sledge, you are recognized. Councilmember Allen, you're next.
Thanks. I had a group come to me and ask if we could defer this one meeting because they had some questions on it. So I'm going to move for a one meeting deferral.
Okay. I've got a motion for a one meeting deferral properly seconded. Seeing no other hands, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? You approve. 12 in favor, 0 against for a one meeting deferral. Twenty 2343 by Roten, Syracuse, and Hancock approves an application for the statewide school resource officer program grant from the Tennessee Department of Safety and Homeland Security for the placement of school resource officers in schools for the continued efforts to establish and maintain safe and secure learning environments. Councilmember Suara, let's get a motion. Moved, properly seconded. Councilmember Suara, you're recognized.
Thank you, Chair. I had heard that the MMPD was not going to apply for this grant. That was at some point, and then I just wanted to know what changed. And I pulled it because I'm not a concern on it, and so I just wanted to hear more about what changed and what's going on and what we have, and to be able to have some discussion about it.
Yeah, Mr. Jameson, I think he knows the answer to that.
We also have Officer Gilbert, Chris Gilbert here with us. The police department is absolutely, positively, definitely pursuing the grant. The slight difference of opinion is this is actually one of those grants that doesn't need the application, council approval of the application, just council approval of the acceptance of the monies. Police department's going forward with a full $3.5 million grant application that's already in existence for middle school and high school. This is also one of those grants that by state law you can continue to apply for in separate phases. So as the police department hires additional personnel that can serve as SROs, they will continue to apply for additional portions of the grant to fund those elementary school SRO officers, about 70 in total. The state grant is a little difficult to work with for us for our standard operating procedures. We initially wanted to dedicate immediately part-time officers to cover the SROs for elementary schools. State grant wouldn't allow that. Tried using current officers that would work overtime. State grant wouldn't allow that. But in the meantime, while we're hiring the new officers, we'll be having volunteer officers from all divisions, also have the rapid response team ready and available for elementary school deployment in the event that it's essential. And with that, I might defer to Officer Gilder if I could.
You're recognized, officer.
Chris Gilder, Metro Police. I really don't know that I have much more to add. I think he actually covered it pretty effectively. The one thing I would point out is that even though at this point in time that we're not applying for the money for elementary schools, there is still that plan in place that we utilized last year to provide coverage to the elementary schools, which is paying overtime for our officers to go by in these schools both in the mornings and the evenings or afternoons. So there is still coverage even though that's not a part of this grant.
And so, Mr. Jamison, we do not have to approve the application, whether we said yes or no, the application will still go through without us? It's just the acceptance of the money that needs approval, is that correct?
That's correct.
And so this is just...
So we had actually suggested either a deferral or even a withdrawal just to eliminate that slight hiccup. It's not going to add an enormous amount of time, but just anything that can expedite the police department's application, they are moving full speed ahead.
All right. Thank you. I know that security is heavy on everyone's mind and everybody has their thoughts on what we need to do or not do. I want to be marked as a no on this. I do think that there's still a lot of conversation to be had on XROs in schools and the impact, and until all of that is had and done, I'm a no on this one. So if you mark me as a no. Thank you.
Seeing no other hands, all in favor? And we have 1 no, 2 no's. 10 in favor, 2 against, 3 no. 9 in favor, 3 against. 2 no's and 1 abstention. 9 in favor, 2 against, 1 abstention. All right, moving on. 2023-2347. O'Connell, Roten, Withers, and others approves a participation agreement between the Metropolitan Department of Water and Sewerage Service and Clark UMC Community Development Corporation to provide public water service improvements for Clark UMC's proposed development, as well as other existing properties in the area. Moved properly. Seconded. Councilmember Allen, you are recognized.
Thank you. I had looked at who was doing the building, and usually a community development corporation is doing stuff related often to housing, to affordable housing. And I believe at one point this administration made a commitment to help with infrastructure when the project involved affordable housing. So is anyone available to address that question?
Mr. Honeysucker, you're recognized.
Thank you, John Honeysucker, Assistant Director of Water Services. Councilor Allen, can you repeat that question exactly, specifically what you were asking?
My question was if Clark Memorial Methodist Church Community Development Corporation, if this project that is part of the participation agreement is building affordable housing, I believe this administration had made a commitment similar to what we're now doing on the Envision Casey, to help with infrastructure as opposed to call upon the entities to help us pay for it. I know we have a need to get our infrastructure upgraded as fast as we can, and these participation agreements are very important. But so is housing affordability. And so I might move for a one-meeting deferral if no one has the answer to whether this CDC is building affordable housing, because I would like to know that. And if not, I'd also like to revisit our policy on how we provide support for infrastructure as opposed to requiring participation agreements. So is there any harm to a one-meeting deferral?
It would not be.
Okay, I'll move for a one-meeting deferral.
We have a motion properly seconded. All in favor? Any opposed? You approve. 12 in favor, 0 against, one meeting deferral. (2023-2348). Gamble, Roten, Withers, and Pulley authorizes the Director of Public Property to exercise an option agreement for the purchase of a flood-prone property located at 3432 Brick Church Pike for Metro Water Services. Moved and properly seconded. Councilmember Gamble, you are recognized.
Thank you, Chair. Move for approval. I thought this one was on consent.
That's all right. Somehow it got pulled. Oh, that's right. I'm sorry. Councilmember Allen, you're right.
Thank you. I took it off consent because I had a question to ask. So in the analysis, it said that it was appraised at $189,000 and we're paying $312,000. I just wondered what the discrepancy was.
Mr. Jameson or someone from administration.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Councilmember Allen. So a few things involved beyond just the mere acquisition of the property. There's the purchase of the property, the abatement. It's got asbestos contaminants and other environmental contaminants that require remediation and abatement. Then the actual demolition is unfortunately not free. And then the intent is to keep this as perpetual open green space, and that requires a little bit of maintenance instead of just scraping concrete. We have to actually clear it off, have seedlings, plants, and so forth. So a bit more of an involvement. The assessor's tax valuation, and I'm sure you'll hear a lot of real estate experts say that may not actually equal current market value, but there are additional reasons for additional cost.
Councilmember Allen.
And so that's our total cost to get this to green space ready, not what we're paying the owner.
That is total cost to get it to green space.
Right. Okay, thank you for that clarification.
Seeing no other hands, all in favor? Any opposed? You approve. 12 in favor, 0 against. (2023-2349). Roten and Pulley approves Amendment 1 to a contract between the Metropolitan Government and Waste Pro of Tennessee, Inc. for the provision of solid waste collection and collection of carts. Move properly seconded. Councilmember Suara, you are recognized.
Thank you, Chair. I just need some walkthrough of the numbers. The way that I read it says that we have, this route is doing 20, I believe, and we had 7.5. Now we're going to 50, but it's now 40,000. So I'm wondering how an increase of 30 added up to 22.5 million.
Yeah, Sharon, you're recognized.
Hey, Sharon Smith with Waste Services. So this contract started out with, basically a small number of routes that the contractor was going to be picking up every week. As we got into a little before this time last year, when we were all meeting about Red River, Red River went into bankruptcy, and when they sold to the incoming company, one of the first things that happened was that the new company that came in that took over, they started having problems with collection. And so I think, John, it was like 2 days in, we removed additional routes from them and gave them to Waste Pro. The contracts that we have, these new contracts, we designed the RFPs very differently than how they had been done in the past to create flexibility so that if there was a problem with one contractor, routes could be easily transferred to another contractor. In this case, we did that, but now we're coming back to do a correction. So they took a bunch of routes from Platform, who bought Red River, and those routes were different type of routes. They were automated routes versus rear loader routes. They did end up costing a bit more, but in addition to this, and I know some of you have probably been aware of the the equipment issues that we've had over the past probably 6+ months with our dumpster collection. As part of this amendment, we are Waste Pro, starting tomorrow, will be helping us with dumpster collection. We don't want to forget those multifamily communities that don't have cart collection. And since we were struggling to keep enough operational trucks available, you've got a multifamily complex with a dumpster that maybe 50 people use, and it fills up, and then it piles up on the ground. So we divided the routes for the dumpster collection routes, so this contract also reflects those additional dumpster routes that Waste Pro will be taking over starting tomorrow.
So basically, in addition to increased services, the type of services is different from what they typically would do, so the rate is more than the original contract? And then they're performing more services? I'm just trying to get the numbers to work.
Yes, you're absolutely correct. They are taking on some very different things, like the dumpster collection that is totally different sort of pay or fee-based than carts. And so because of that, we are amending their contract, and it does show a significant increase in the contract value. The good thing is that they have been at these rates, except for the dumpsters, since August of last year. And actually, that's not exactly accurate. They had to start out slightly higher. These are actually now the longer term rates. But additionally, with the dumpsters coming in, we were fortunate that we were able to budget for that. So this fiscal year's budget covers all of this. So it's not going to be additional cost that wasn't budgeted.
And so the life of the grant itself, there's only 4 years left. So the 1 year that is already happened, do we know how much that was that we paid them in all?
I don't know exactly how much we paid them last calendar year, but it would have been pretty close to these numbers because they were charging us slightly higher rates because they had to lease trucks until they bought them, and they didn't get all of their trucks in until the 1st of June. So they spent most of last year at slightly higher rates than we have now.
And then this contract supposed to be like up to an amount, so it's based on what they do that we pay. It's not automatically that we have to pay them the $40,000.
It's based on the work that they perform.
Thank you.
Councilmember Benedict, you're recognized.
Thank you, Chair. Most of my questions have been answered. I just have one more in regards to the front-load dumpster routes. I get questions from our multifamily communities frequently. Today, I guess, are these 11 new ones, or are they currently, I'm trying to gauge the level of service that's going to be improved. So, for instance, we have none of those today. These will be 11 additional routes.
No, we have approximately 4 routes a day, and we divided those with Waste Pro. So Metro is going to continue on with 2 routes a day. We should be able to manage that much better than we have. And this has just been a issue with equipment and the length of time that it takes. Once General Services gets them and it sends them out to the contractors, it may be something as simple as a PM service, but it could be 2 weeks before we get it back from the contractor. So with all those delays and, a lot of complaints, and there have been times that myself and some of our other leadership have had to gone out to complexes and talk to people and try and, work with them. But this is going to mean that Metro, our staff will be doing less, and Waste Pro will be doing that balance. So they're going to be doing basically half of the routes, and we'll be doing the other half.
Okay, so I'm not sure I'm clear. So today we're missing things. This doesn't sound like it's in addition to what we're doing today. This is the total amount that we're doing today. It's just that it's going to be split.
It's going to be divided, yes.
So how do we know we're not going to have the misses now? That if we don't have more routes, the reason why we've been having misses is because we've needed more routes, I thought.
No, we needed more trucks.
Okay.
The issues with the misses is if we get down to 3 trucks, for 4 routes a day, we can usually scrape by. When it drops down to 2, then we're missing customers. And we might, because we pick them up once a week like residential customers, if they have a private contract, because some of them they'll have Metro one day and a private company another day. If they don't have that, then that means they may be going a week or longer without getting any collection. And we had a huge number of complaints about this, so we kind of put our heads together and decided that to make sure our multifamily customers weren't getting lost in all of this, that we would divide it and give some to Waste Pro. We reached out to more than one contractor, and Waste Pro had the lowest rate, so we decided to go with them.
Okay, I just want to make sure that we're going to stop having the misses at these, because it is an issue in the district, so thank you.
It is, yeah, thank you.
Councilmember Allen, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So looking back, I had similar questions, and looking in the contract at the scope of work and the rate schedules, it still reflected the 20 routes and there was no information about where those 11 dumpsters were. So is there an updated version of that scope of work and the rate schedule that shows what the rate for the dumpster routes is?
Yeah, I guess it wasn't included, and I apologize. The rates for the dumpsters, as I recall, are $3.50 a cubic yard.
Gotcha. Can that be added before tomorrow? And does the contract not include that in the schedule? I can't remember if it was Appendix B or Appendix A, but right now when you look back there, it shows the 20 routes.
Yeah, it should have come through on there was a additional Exhibit B that I thought came through, but okay. I can make sure I can send it over.
I'll check. Maybe I thought Appendix B was Exhibit B and I didn't look fully.
But I don't mind sending it over to Rosie to be distributed.
Thanks.
Thank you, Councilmember. Any other questions? Seeing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? You approve. 12 in favor, 0 against. Item 2023-2352 by Murphy. We have a letter to approve, and we have a proposed amendment by Councilmember Murphy. Hold on just one second, y'all. Councilmember Johnston, are you wanting to move the amendment?
I was going to move for a 1-meeting deferral, unamended.
We have a motion for a 1-meeting deferral. Properly seconded. Councilmember, we have a motion for a 1-meeting deferral. Anybody want to speak on the deferral? Councilmember Allen, you're recognized.
Thank you. Just if Councilmember Johnston can explain the reason for the deferral.
Well, we don't have a sponsor here, and I understand she has an amendment and a letter to approve, but this is one of the largest tourist events that we have in Nashville, and it's one of the largest revenue-producing events as well. And, July 4th and fireworks have always been sort of synonymous with each other, I think. And so I think to have a better conversation about what the sponsor is trying to do, if we're trying to eliminate fireworks from July 4th, I don't know, I just think we have another meeting, we can all discuss it, then it's a 1 meeting. I'm just asking for a 1-meeting deferral.
Councilmember Allen, do you have anything further?
It's always good to discuss things, and I'll have lots of things to say next week.
Councilmember Van Rees, you're recognized. If I can find your, where are, there you are. You're recognized.
The way I understand this is just asking the CVC to do what they're already intending anyway, which is to look at modern opportunities to enhance all of our events that may currently include fireworks. I don't see anything in this that says the elimination of fireworks, simply a matter of please look into alternatives. And so with that, I don't think that we need to defer this at all. I think we should go through on committee and talk about it tomorrow night if we want to. So I'll vote no on the deferral.
Councilmember Swore, you recognized.
Thank you, Chair. For clarification, the cost of the study will be borne by the The convention center? Not, I'm just clarifying.
I'm looking to my right, council member. I'm seeing who wants to answer this one. Mr. Jameson, you recognize.
Okay. So they're going to bear the costs, and they also send a letter that says they're already doing this, and they look forward to continue to partner with Metro to look for ways to help our citizens and the environment. It looks as if they're not objecting to that, and so I don't see the reason for a deferral as well. So I'll be a no on the deferral.
Thank you. Councilmember Benedict, you recognized.
I'm good. My questions are.
Councilmember Mendez, you recognized.
Just a brief clarification. I think Councilmember Suara asked whether the cost would be borne by the convention center, and I think the question was meant to be whether it's going to be borne by the Nashville Convention and Visitors Corporation.
That is correct.
All right, thanks.
All right. I think we're all clear. We are on a motion. Councilmember Johnston, you're recognized.
I just wanted to clarify that as I read this letter from the Nashville Convention and Visitors Corp, it doesn't say that they're in favor of this. It says they've been working towards some, certain studies of sustainability and things like that, but that while they appreciate the spirit, they're not in favor of this piece of legislation. So I just wanted to make that clarification.
Councilmember Van Reese, looked like the microphone was ready.
I believe they're here. If they could clarify it, they can do that.
Someone here from the visitors, and they're coming to the mic. Please introduce yourself when you get to the stand. You're recognized.
Hello, I'm Dina Ivy with the Convention and Visitors Corp. And yes, Councilmember Murphy asked us to explore options for the fireworks, and we wrote the letter saying we would explore options to add drones or lasers. Depends on the cost, depends on what we find out, but it doesn't mean that we've agreed to replace fireworks necessarily.
Councilmember Johnston, do you have anything further? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Councilmember Benedict, you're recognized.
Thank you. So, as I understand it, this resolution requests the CVC to do the study, and so they have the authority to look at what they're looking at, right? I mean, we're telling them what to look at, but today they're already looking at it, and now we're just saying, look at it and give us the report. Basically. So to me, I don't see a reason to defer this either. I think if they're doing it already, we're not telling them how to do it. We're not saying look at one thing versus another thing. We just want to hear back, and this gives the accountability that we get to hear back what it is that they're looking at. So with that, I'm against a deferral, and I'll leave it there.
I saw a big paw up in the back. That's Councilmember Pulley back there. You're recognized.
That's what you call it now, Mr. Chair, big paw. Could I get ask the convention center president another question?
Yep. She is coming back. You're recognized.
Yes.
Yeah, I just want to be clear on what I'm hearing here, because I heard you state that you're looking at this because you were requested to do so by Councilmember Murphy. This was not initiated by the CVC. Is that correct?
Correct.
So this is not something that you're doing. You're doing it relative to what this resolution is telling you to do, right?
Correct.
Okay. All right. So let's be clear about that. So without this resolution, you wouldn't be doing this study. Is that what you're saying?
Correct.
All right. So that's a little different than what I've been hearing. Mm-hmm. So is this something where how much is it going to cost you to do this study if you do it?
Well, we didn't necessarily agree to a study. We said we'd explore options. But I will add, we are always looking at measures to make our events more environmentally friendly. So it's not out of the scope for us to look at this. I want to let you know that we have added some things in the last few years, like composting, recycling, some of the materials that we use for the events. So we're definitely open to looking at this, but it's not something we had thought about.
Okay. Is there anything that have you received any complaints or anything from the public or anything that would lead you down this path other than what you are hearing from in this resolution?
No,
okay.
Sir.
All right. And, okay, that's all the questions I have. Thank you. And we really don't know, will this resolution cause you to spend more money than you're spending now on a particular state? I'd love to know what the cost of this thing is going to be if we're going to pass this resolution. And it doesn't seem like we have an answer to that.
No.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Mendez, you are recognized. Now, we're on a deferral motion, so remember that.
Yeah, I mean, fundamentally, I don't care about this one way or the other. But to be clear, everybody who owns a dog within 6 miles of downtown complains about it. Like, there's definitely complaints about it.
Thank you, Councilmember Mendez. Did anybody else have any other comments, questions, other than looks at me like I don't know? Okay, thanks. All right, we're on a deferral motion, 1 meeting deferral motion. If you are in favor, please raise your hand. I'm looking. It looks like we have 5 in favor. Oh. We were getting to that. Council's trying to rush me up here, y'all. Those opposed, please raise your hand. 2 abstentions. 5, and 2 abstentions. I did that on purpose. So, do we have to be moving? Yep, so, can I get somebody to move the amendment since it technically failed? We have moved and properly seconded on the amendment. I want to ask council to explain what the amendment is. You're recognized.
The amendment adds a recital that makes specific reference to all of the dogs who are upset by the fireworks. It talks about how MAC has an increased intake volume within the 10 days surrounding the 4th of July.
Councilmember Mendez, did you have any comments about the dogs? No. All right. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? You approve the amendment. 12 in favor, 0 against. We are on the resolution as amended. Oh, Councilmember Allen, you're recognized.
Thank you. I want to thank the CVC for being willing to look at this. And I will say there have been several times when I have been sitting on the river enjoying the fireworks and having cinders drop on my head, and at the end not being able to see the fireworks because I was in a cloud of smoke. And so I think that perhaps there is benefit to evaluating, is there a way to make this even cooler in a way that makes it visible the entire time with lasers or whatever, and we'll have to talk about dark skies on that. But I just appreciate the willingness to look, and I think it's always good to explore other options. And I do think in some directions, the longer the show is, the less you get to see of it, which is a little bit of an irony. So there may be room for improvement, and I appreciate the fact that they're willing to look at it. And I support the amendment as I support the bill as amended, the resolution as amended.
Thank you, Councilmember Allen. Councilmember Evans, you're recognized.
Thank you, Chair. I echo Councilwoman Allen's sentiments about supporting the idea of looking at this. There is a hard cost to the city, and going back to the amendment we just added related to pets, because MAC cannot pick up lost pets. We are requiring that residents go out and pick up lost animals and secure them before animal control can come and take them. And of course, if you're involved with anything animal related in your districts, you know that, they're full a lot these days. And so the more that we can keep animals out of animal control, the better. And fireworks, unfortunately, are one of the drivers with people being separated from their pets. So anyway, I support this also. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Evans. Councilmember Spore, you recognize.
Thank you, Chair. I just wanted to add that I'm also very encouraging of looking at what this looks like. And I think that every time we take a pause and look at what is best for the city, I think it's always a good thing. And so I'm grateful that they're doing that. And in terms of cost, I don't think anyone is saying stop fireworks or don't generate money. I think even when we make it better, it could actually increase revenue. So I think that's part of what we're looking at. This is not stopping it entirely, but look at what can be best for the citizens. And I think that's a good approach. So I'm grateful that the CVC is willing to take a look at that as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Suara.
Councilmember Pulley, you're recognized.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And I'm going to support it. I'll support the resolution. I do want to make one other point. I get the effect this has on animals. I do hear all the complaints I hear about the effect of fireworks on animals comes from neighborhood fireworks. And those aren't going to go away regardless of what we have here on this issue. So, I guess I just wanted to make the point that neighborhood fireworks aren't going to go away. I don't want them to get any worse over this, but I'm going to support this resolution, so I'm just rambling right now. Thank you for that opportunity.
Thank you for the ramble. Councilmember Evans, you're recognized.
I just wanted to respond to Councilmember Pulley's comment because according to the last census, District 19 was one of the biggest growing neighborhoods in all of the city. So it's a neighborhood in addition to being a tourist destination. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Evans. Seeing no other hands, all in favor, please raise your hand. I guess anybody opposed, please raise your hand. 12 in favor, 0 against. 2023-2353 by Johnston requests the Human Resources Department study the use of the Consumer Price Index for determining cost of living adjustments for employees of the Metropolitan Government and the policy and practice of modifying step positions and step increment dates during pay plan implementation, requesting the Civil Service Commission create policy based on the results of the study. Councilmember Johnson, you're recognized. We get motion properly seconded. Councilmember Johnson, you're recognized.
Thank you. So this is the resolution that came out of the previous request to just solidly make our COLA attached to the CPI. And so now what we're asking is, since we're doing this study, this $1 million study for our pay plan, is to specifically ask for them to look at our COLA, how we administer COLA, how we determine what the COLA is going to be, what it should be tied to, and also the way that we do what is called sometimes slotting or reverse slotting when we're looking at our step increase pay plans. And so it's just a request to add these specific bullet points into the study that they're already doing.
Councilmember Allen, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I appreciate the attention that Councilmember Johnson has given to this. I know she's done a lot of diligent study on that. But since we've got Shannon here, if Ms. Hall could just come up.
Shannon, I was going to let you get out without it, but
she spent all this time.
Councilmember Allen decided that she's going to make you walk all.
I think adding it to the study is totally appropriate, and I'll be interested to hear what they say. And do you have any comments on it?
Shannon, you're recognized.
She didn't need to even add it. I think I've been pretty vocal in the commission meeting and in our work session. These are known pain points, so we were already going to have these things studied. So when I read the resolution, I'm like, we're doing all these things. The only thing it added as a request was to share the study with MNPS partners. I would love to. I mean, the more we can be networking and sharing information and not reinventing the wheel, I'm all for it. So we have no problems at all. We were planning on having all of this studied, whether any kind of pay increase, COLA, whether or not we should be on a market rate, steps. I mean, we're such a big organization. I think it kind of takes a combination of different things because one size does not fit all for comp in our system. But yes, we were planning on doing all the things that are outlined.
Thank you. Councilmember Allen, are you good? Councilmember Johnson, you're recognized.
While I have you up here, can I get you on record as committing to involving the unions as well as the Department of Finance in this pay plan study, please?
Yes.
Thank you.
All right. Seeing no other hands, thank you, Shannon. Mm-hmm. All in favor? Any opposed? You approve. 12 in favor, 0 against. We have 2 late filed resolutions. One by Toombs, approved tranche amendment 2 between the Tennessee Valley Authority, Nashville Electric Services, and the Metropolitan Government for the purchase of renewable energy. I don't know if does anybody want to sign on to this? Or Councilmember Sledge is willing to sign on in this late filed resolution, but if someone could, someone want to explain what we're doing with this from the administration?
We have Jennifer Westerholm here, I think, from General Services, who can speak to this.
Sorry to make you run up, but if it's late filed, I'd just like somebody to tell us what we're doing and why. You're recognized. Oh, sorry. You're recognized.
Thank you. Hi, Jennifer Westerholm, Assistant Director in General Services. Thanks for having me. My first time up here. This is something that we've been working closely with the Mayor's Office, Kendra Abkowitz, and the sustainability folks at the Mayor's Office on. Back in 2020, Council approved $6,179,687 over 20 years to procure a large amount of large-scale renewable energy to help our city to meet its renewable portfolio standards. So as you know, in 2019, legislation requiring us to essentially offset all of our municipal energy consumption from essentially tier 1 renewables by 2041. So that agreement initially in 2020, the city announced a partnership with TVA, NES, multiple partners, Vanderbilt University signed on, and a couple other entities to build and procure this large-scale solar installation down in Tullahoma, Tennessee. In the intervening years, there's been project delays and also cost increases, interconnectivity, costs related to the project. And so as a result, the initial tranche agreement that council approved in 2020, this is the revised tranche agreement. And I can go on if there's specific questions. The revisions into the tranche are essentially a lowered amount of renewable energy because of the cost increases. So the cost per REC, per renewable energy credit, went up from $1.25 per REC. The REC is per megawatt hour, $1.25 per megawatt hour, to $3.08 per megawatt hour because of there was NEPA review on the site and different environmental factors so it kind of drug it out, and then the cost increases. And so as a result, we are wanting to honor Metro Council's initial commitment of $6.2-ish million over the course of 20 years to procure this large-scale solar. But as a result, we want to keep the dollar amount the same, and so we're going to have less energy. So initially, the agreement was for 100 megawatts of solar, and now it's 40 megawatts. So we'll be subscribing to 20% of the overall project, which is a 200 megawatt large-scale solar project in Tullahoma.
Thank you. Councilmember Mendez, you're recognized.
This is really just for the administration. The only thing that really jumped out at me on this was just that Councilmember Toombs is the sponsor as opposed to one of the committee chairs, and I'm just wondering why that is.
We had this is late filed because we had, unfortunately, an attorney that was unexpectedly out, and I think we were just reaching out for whoever was available. I literally may have seen her as part of the discussion on the why we can't wait discussion, but we were just trying to grab somebody as quickly as possible. That was about the only reason.
All right. So I guess then for the chair, you had a chance to look at this and...
No.
All right. Is there time urgency?
No, if this were deferred one meeting, I think that would be, in the short term, there's no time urgency. In the long term, we are literally on the last day of the hottest month in the history of humanity. So everything we can do to shorten our reliance on carbon fuels, we're all for. And apologize for the cost increase through TVA. Had no ability to control that whatsoever, but still wholeheartedly endorse the Green Invest program and the energy savings that can apply for Nashville.
I mean, with it being late filed, it wouldn't be deferral. It would just be introduce it next meeting. So I'll let whoever wants to think about that before tomorrow think about it.
Councilmember Allen, you're recognized. Hold on just 1 second, sorry. Hit the wrong button. You're recognized.
Thank you. Question from Ms. Westerholm. So do y'all already have the math worked out to how this affects our plan to reach the 2040 goals, and is there something else that will fill in this gap?
Yes and no. So we do have it worked out, and there's nothing, I mean, this is a vital piece of meeting our renewable portfolio standards. So what we've done is all our metro agencies now, with a couple exceptions, but for the most part, are benchmarking. They're looking at their annual energy use. So we have really good data now, most of it from 2022 for what our city departments are actually using. So we have kind of our denominator, if you will. And then we have a number of approaches that we're pursuing to, as you say, fill the gap and move toward the stair-step progression of this legislation to replace that with renewables. But this 40 megawatts is a very important step in the right direction, but it's not going to get us anywhere close. So with the 40 megawatts, so in addition to the rooftop solar we already have on on metro facilities and ground mounted with some water services facilities, and the renewable power that's currently in TVA's generation portfolio, this 40 megawatts will get us to about 16% of municipal energy offset through renewables. We're also looking at a number of other strategies, so public-private partnerships where we could get RECs, the renewable energy credits, donated to us, as well as you know, we've been conducting a solar feasibility assessment to look at the generation potential of our city-owned properties, the rooftops and grounds and things like that right here in Metro, to see where we can put solar that would also move us toward our goals. So it's really, in doing the math, we realize it has to be a multi-pronged approach if we're going to meet our legislated goal.
Great. Thank you all for looking for solutions. Okay.
Councilman Mendez, you're recognized.
Mr. Jameson, do you have anything to add?
I do. Council Lady Toombs was the sponsor of the original legislation, which was also the pertinent reason for making her the sponsor on this late filed. I just happened to be dealing with her at the time on the why we can't wait discussion at the time.
And I need to add, because council just told me, I didn't have it in my pile and it wasn't marked on our calendars, but Councilmember Toombs did send in a letter to have this approved on late filed. So, yep. So, seeing no hands, Jennifer, welcome to General Services. I didn't know that you had just started, so congratulations.
Thank you. I've been there 6 years, but I just got a promotion.
Oh, okay.
So thank you. Yeah.
Sorry. So,
No.
I feel bad now. Only 6 years. Thanks, Jennifer.
Thank you so
all right.
much.
Seeing no other hands, all in favor? Any opposed? You approve. 12 in favor, 0 against. Have another late filed resolution by Councilmember Evans, approves the intergovernmental agreement between the United States Department of Transportation and the National Department of Transportation and Multimodal Infrastructure for the acceptance of a strengthening mobility and revolutionizing transportation grant from the U.S. DOT and NDOT to install LiDAR and video camera technologies at key intersections and mid-block segments for near-miss data collection. Councilmember Evans, you are recognized on your late filed resolution.
Thank you. I was elected to file this because of my involvement in the Rules Committee tomorrow. And so I'll defer to the administration for an explanation.
Mr. Jameson, you recognize.
I may have to get back to you. I do not have the background information on this, and I apologize, but I'll have that to you before the end of the day.
Is there anybody in the room that has information on this late filed resolution?
I mean, there's a letter. I can read the letter that explains it if you are interested.
If you've got a letter, I'd like to hear.
Okay, so it says the Nashville Department of Transportation is filing a resolution on the award acceptance. The United States Department of Transportation strengthening mobility and revolutionizing transportation smart grant. The grant, with an award of $2 million with no cash match, will be used to implement our leveraging advanced data to deliver multimodal safety LADDMS project. There's some detail about Vision Zero and improving data quality, prioritizing equity and increasing collaboration and transparency with partnering with Tennessee universities. And then the reason for the late file is because we're ending the term, and they just were awarded the grant on July 26th. And so they have to hurry up and accept it.
Thank you. And NDOT was here, and then they left. I don't know if they forgot that they had another bill on the calendar, but they were here just a little while ago. So, Councilmember Gamble, you are recognized.
Thank you, Chair. I also wanted to hear from NDOT. So if someone can speak to this, that would be great.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't. My apologies.
You're recognized.
Kristen Cumro from NDOT. We filed this with the state of Tennessee, and it's going to allow us to do a lot with Vision Zero. Diana can speak more to this, but the reason that we're asking that we had the late file is because it's a 3-month period of time to get the project done. If we hadn't gotten it in on earlier, then we would have had to delay the start of the project. So we were hoping to get it in so that we could get it started and have it end in October as originally planned.
Councilmember Gamble.
Thank you. Also, can you explain the near-miss data collection? What does that mean?
That means the accidents that could possibly happen in an intersection, we'll be able to gather data that shows where an accident could have happened, but they nearly missed. The cars nearly missed each other. So we'll be able to collect data on accidents that didn't actually happen but could have happened.
And you'll be able to use that data to change signaling and other things?
Yes, to improve the safety in the intersections.
Thank you for that clarification.
Councilmember Mendez.
It's a two-part question. One, with it being video camera technology, is it expected to capture identifying information like license plate numbers, for example, and retain that information? And if so, how does it fit in with our LPR rules?
We will be capturing data, but we will not retain any data.
What does that mean? How do you capture without retaining it?
It won't be, the information will not be housed on any Metro servers. So you will be able to see it in real time, but we will not be retaining that information on any databases or any servers.
Is it going to be a human being monitoring it in real time?
It will be monitored in our traffic management system.
So by people, not machines?
Yes.
All right. I guess that may be a question for, maybe it fits in one of the exclusions in the existing law. And while council is looking up that question, thank you for that information. Is there going to be any software connected to it that could read license plate information?
That I am not sure about, but we can check on that and get that information for you.
All right, thank you. And the question for council, just say it out loud, is...
As soon as she finds out, she'll hit me upside the head and I'll let you know.
All right, thank you.
Councilmember Sawyer, you're recognized.
Thank you, Chair. My understanding is that the reason why it's late filed is because this term is almost ended. So that means that we still have another meeting. So would a one meeting defer kill it?
I think we're kind of in the same position. It's late filed, so if you wanted to defer it tomorrow night, we could approve it, and then it's going to go before rules, so it'd have to be approved, and then we'd have to suspend the rules, and then if you want to defer it tomorrow night, and we could actually, I guess, move to defer.
Yeah, I would like to move to defer one meeting.
So we have a motion to defer one meeting, properly seconded. Councilmember Allen, you're recognized.
Thank you. I'm just acknowledging this will also go before transportation infrastructure. So there is the opportunity tomorrow night to have these questions answered or not and defer it then if we don't get the questions answered then.
Hold on, council's discussing. Did anybody else have any questions while we're waiting? Councilmember Benedict, you're recognized.
A committee's deferral doesn't automatically, I know that there's a rule around that, so I'm trying to understand. On a late filed, I'm curious if that stands the same as it does on a regular resolution.
I turned her mic on, so she's going to explain everything to us.
A one meeting deferral by committee would be an automatic deferral on the floor. Since this is late filed, what you could do instead, if you don't get your answers at the transportation or at rules, the suspension of the rules has to happen. So you could just object to a suspension of the rules, and then it would have to be refiled for the next meeting anyway, which there is one more meeting available for this.
Can the committee just have no recommendation?
Yes.
Hannah's still got something to say over there, so I was waiting on her. Does anybody else have any questions? Since we have someone from NDOT standing at the back. Seeing no other hands, you can sit down. Thank you so much. Councilmember Allen, I guess you're making a motion for no recommendation, is that correct? You're recognized. Or was it Councilmember?
I was just questioning the need for the deferral and suggesting some other options to deferral.
I'm at the will of the committee. I'm actually at their will right now, but I'm at the will of y'all, what y'all want to do, so. You're recognized.
Just going back to the question that was raised earlier about whether there is some exemption for this under the LPR legislation or ordinance, and there is an exemption for surveillance or technology that monitors and manages traffic.
Councilmember Evans, this is yours. You got any recommendations?
I am fine with it being deferred. I mean, I can speak to it tomorrow during rules. We can have that conversation too about it being late, but since there's questions and we don't have some definitive answers, or we can wait till tomorrow night and see what comes up with transportation if we get more information. I am agnostic to the direction.
No one is helping me at all out here. Will somebody do something?
Thank you.
I think is there a deferral on the floor?
I'm sorry. Bob, Councilmember Mendez?
I think when it came up in the first place, somebody made a motion to approve.
We do have a motion to approve, and it's been properly seconded. Did anybody have a motion for a deferral?
There was a motion for deferral.
Did you make the, no, I didn't see, I don't know who made the motion. We talked about, well, could we defer or could we just hold off? You know, we never really had it, so. Councilmember Suarez, would you just say that into your microphone and we'll take it up?
Yes, Chair. I did make a motion for a one-meeting deferral.
So we have a motion for a one-meeting deferral. Do I have a second? Properly seconded. I have discussion in the back. Councilmember Pulley, on the deferral, you're recognized.
Here, thank you, Mr. Chair. I think we know that if we defer this, it's an automatic deferral, and there are other options available that have been articulated. We do have another committee meeting tomorrow night at which we can discuss these very questions with answers. So I'm not really sure what the need is for a deferral. If you want to defer it when it goes to the floor, all you got to do, like the council just told us, is object to suspension of the rules. So I'd be against the deferral motion.
Councilmember Johnson, you're recognized.
Ditto.
We have a motion for a no deferral. No, I'm just kidding. We have a motion for a deferral and properly seconded. All in favor? Oh, that didn't go very far. Any opposed? So everybody raise your hand if you're against it. That way she likes to count. She's very meticulous. All right. 0 in favor, 9 against the deferral. So we're back on the bill. Late filed bill. All in favor? Any opposed? You approve. 12 in favor, 0 against. That was a lot of work. All right, we're on to bills on second reading. Bill number 2023-1992, sponsor is Young. Amend section 2.24.230 of the Metropolitan Code pertaining to community meetings. We have a motion for indefinite deferral, properly seconded. Any discussion on indefinite deferral? Seeing none. All in favor? Any opposed? You approve an indefinite deferral. We have a point of order from Councilmember Mendez. You are recognized.
Or the director, under the rules, does that, what just happened, force automatic indefinite deferral tomorrow? Because I think the rule says it's something about against the wishes of the sponsor, and I don't know what the wishes of the sponsor are. So What's the deal?
I would, since the sponsor isn't present, hasn't been present for either of the indefinite deferrals, I don't think it's automatic because there is no, suggestion that he is opposed to it.
And that's everything. Motion for adjournment, properly moved.
This has been a service of the Metro Nashville Network. If you would like to see this presentation again, or for more information on this and other programs, visit nashville.gov.